Hello, my name is Sidbeast and you can call me B, and welcome back to some more Winter's Wish. As a reminder, I am now doing these live, so feel free to catch me on Twitch. I would be very happy to see you there. But yeah, let's go. Follow a day. We figured the enemy would strike Chiyoda Castle next. With that hypothesis in mind, Tojo and I headed over to Chiyoda Castle. Will they let us in the castle even though we're under suspicion? No worries, I received permission from the Only-One-Bon the day before. And something about the art style? I mean, it's beautiful art, but I don't know, there's something about it. His hairline looks way too low, I think. It's like, that's not a 4-head, that's a 3-head. Glad you got permission. The Only-One-Bon are also hoping we'll turn up some clues by looking around. If the kidnapping god actually has its sights set on the castle, it'll try to break in somewhere. I like to figure out where exactly. The kidnapping god is what they're calling the person behind the scene who's causing all these Blightfall to pop up. They're basically making children do it. Do you think that might help us protect not just the castle, but all of Edo? We gotta do the best we can! We decided to walk around the perimeter of Chiyoda Castle first. Looking at this reminds me of just how tight security is around Chiyoda Castle. It's the center of Edo, after all. The moat winding around the castle was so wide anyone attempting to cross would be discovered before they made it to the other side. It was also considerably deep. Tall walls loomed on the other side of the moat as well. It was absolutely impossible to infiltrate the castle from there. There was also a lot of guards. You could attempt to sneak in, but you'd be discovered immediately. Also, for audio and stuff, please tell me if anything sounds weird, anything too soft, anything too loud, please let me know. True. Is the kidnapping god really planning to break in? Is it even really targeting the castle in the first place? Ah, thanks, Cribbles. Maybe my hypothesis was off the mark. Definitely not. Don't get discouraged. Soup, you're right. Sorry about that. Guess I was just getting impatient. I was just thinking that if we don't find any leads to help the children soon, it might be too late. And it's not just them. At this rate, all of Edo will be in danger too. Sigh. Tojo. I could tell he really was feeling impatient, which I found bewildering. What's going on? Something about the way Tojo's acting seems different than I've ever seen him act before. As I wondered to myself what might have caused him to behave so strangely, I gasped when my eyes landed on his neck. I could see his threads clearly now. Ah, so he's feeling like a normal person now. And they were the unmistakable, inconsolable color of impatience. What's up? Tojo, around your neck. Tojo seemed to have guessed what I was trying to say, even though I didn't finish my sentence. He's a normie for now, yeah. Until they strip him of his consciousness, or we clear his name. Hey, thanks for the pets, Bombo. Is that the only emote available right now? Because last I saw the other ones was up for review. Dang. I don't know why they were like, yeah, this one's fine. We don't know about the other ones yet. I don't know why. He reached towards his own neck, even though he couldn't touch them. Yeah, that's gotta pass, yeah. How long have you been able to see them? How do I answer him while still sparing his feelings as much as I can? I should have pulled up the guide before I started the playthrough. I'm so professional. Also, guys, you know what's crazy? Some places kind of nearish towards me, kind of like an hour away. Maybe a little more. are being evacuated due to wildfires. It's weird. I never had anything like that happen so close before. Thank you for Thank you for subscribing, Bombo. I wish I had some neat stuff for you, but I don't right now. I need to do some neat shit. But hey, I really appreciate it. Orvar! Thank you! Again, I don't have anything really set up. Y'all didn't have to. But thank you! Yeah, that, like, rewards and shit. Like, don't people do, like, rewards and shit if you subscribe to someone? I don't know. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I was looking up the Winter Wish walkthrough. Live train. I don't know, it's just like, yay. Y'all didn't have to. Y'all really didn't have to. I really appreciate it, though. Answer honestly. Oops. The only way to answer his question is to be honest. I've been able to faintly detect your threads ever since you regained your memories. This is the first time they've ever been clear enough for me to make out the color, though. Is that right? Seeing him all shaken up reminded of when I lived in the village. Seeing him all shaken up reminded me of when I lived in the village. Telling the villagers I could see their threads really spooked them. Yeah, I'm affiliate now. A long time ago, I was feared as a mind-reading demon who could peer into people's thoughts and went through life having people talk about me behind my back. Normal people were scared of having their minds read. They found it eerie. Excuse me. I hope I haven't made Tojo feel the same way. Oh, that must have made you uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Nah, not at all. I don't mind you being able to see my emotions. I was just surprised to hear that my heart was coming back to me too, and not just my memories, I guess. It's a bit embarrassing, knowing you're in on my thoughts. I mean, we only know, it's like, we don't know the deep shit, where I was like, we know if you're angry, happy, sad. Maybe other emotions, but... you know what, never mind. Yeah. That would be embarrassing. He smiled shyly. It looked like I hadn't hurt his feelings after all. I should have thought so. Thank you so much, Shroomy, for the 69 bits. Kevin Pinkin is amazing. I fucking knew it. Gosh darn it, Shroomy. I should have known. Looked like I hadn't hurt his feelings after all. Huh? Suddenly, Tojo looked behind him. You made Orvar angry. Yeah, from the whole Kevin Pinkin. I looked in the same spot, but I didn't see anyone there, just trees. He continued staring at the trees. They're in the trees, Soup. Tomonari? He called out Tomonari's name. Hi, bitches. To my surprise, Tomonari silently emerged from the shade of trees. Wait, Tomonari? Hi, Soup. Tomonari had completely concealed himself, and yet Tojo was still able to detect his presence. Frankly, I was impressed. But why is he here? And why was he hiding? Oh, Bombo, you gave Crumbles a gift sub! Ah! Yay. Welcome, Crumbles. You're one of us. You're all amazing. Why is he here? And why is he hiding? Excuse me, Tominari, but why are you... Oh. It occurred to me the second I asked why he was here. You wouldn't happen to have been watching us this entire time, have you? Yeah, I was. Ugh, I knew it. It surprised me that he admitted to it so readily. We are the Hive! I was also bewildered because I had never been monitored before. Thinking about it logically, there was no way the Oniwaban would let Tojo, their prime suspect, roam freely in their current circumstances. Le Hive Mind. Sorry, this is also part of my mission. I gotta stalk y'all guys. Hopefully it's cool with y'all. I don't have much of a choice. Yeah, it's okay. It definitely makes sense for someone to be tailing us. I glanced over at Tojo and saw him looking rather torn. The threads around his neck showed a touch of frustration. It amazed me that he was able to detect Tominari, but perhaps it took him longer than usual to notice? He'd been under a lot of stress the last few days, so it was no surprise that he didn't notice someone was keeping a close watch on him. Tojo's smile was seemingly collected. That was pretty awesome, Tominari. You really upped your undercover game. Even I didn't notice you until just now. Tominari didn't say a single thing in response to his praise. Not on speaking terms with me. Damn. Tominari probably already regarded Tojo as an enemy. That makes me so sad. It's almost like their entire past working together as comrades never even happened. Hey, Tominari. We're in the middle of doing our own independent investigation of the Blightfall in this case. Explained how it was very likely they'd eventually target Chiyoda Castle, then Lord Yoshimune, based on the information we gathered. That certainly may be the case. The castle is securely guarded, though. It's absolutely impossible for the enemy to sneak in. Why are you so convinced that it's impossible? Whoever's behind this string of Blightfall cases has been outwitting us left and right. Because this time, I'll be watching. I didn't understand what he meant for a second. When it hit me a moment later, I felt sad. Quit saying that like you've already decided it's all Tojo's doing. My phone has just had a bunch of green and black blocks glitching about. Ooh, that's not fun, true me. You probably need a new phone soon, especially like your phone, what you said was like 5 years old. Oh. I believe he's very likely to be. It sounded like it would be an uphill battle to convince him otherwise. Still, I began to implore him. Tojo and I won't make much progress on our own. If he could just help us out. I can't because that would go against orders. I expected as much, but his answer made me even sadder. But this is the same teammate who guarded Samurai Town with you. You and Tojo mean a lot to me, Tominari. You came to the village to get me, and you showed me how vast the world truly is. The thought of you two being at each other's throats like this makes me so sad. Sorry, I don't mean to sadden you, but I can't. That's enough, Soup. Tojo placed his hand on my shoulder and smiled sorrowfully. Tominari also has his position in Oniwaban to consider. He can't help us. Had Google Play not working for like 6 months before? Ugh. I'm not talking to you, Google. Go away!
I found these results.
I'm not talking to you! I didn't say cute. Google stuff. It's always listening. Same for my Amazon Alexa over there, and I'm calling her Alexa because if I say the other word, it'll turn on. Like Echo. Hi, Echo. Echo. Hi. Yeah, it didn't hear me. But if you... Well, it did hear me a little bit, but if you... It's Kanito, he's expanding his... If you whisper to, the Echo... If you whisper to the Echo, it will whisper back. Echo, stop! Thank you so much! Every one of you is so awesome. I love every one of you. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Again, y'all didn't have to! Just because I'm a failure doesn't mean you have to. But I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Subscribe. It's completely up to you, Shroomy. No pressure. Tomonari also had his position only Wabban to consider. He can't help us. But Tojo. Ask him all you want, but vessels aren't swayed by emotion. It is exactly what makes us suited for flying Blightfall. Oh, I'm the second sub you actually bought? Ah, I really appreciate it. That really means a lot. Thank you. When I heard Tojo say this, I couldn't think of anything to say in response. Ah! A hawk flew out from nowhere and landed on... Whose is that again? Is it... I forgot his name. I have an idea of who it belongs to, but this stock hawk... Ah! Oh, it's cute. Oh, there you go. It's Kyoshiro's head hawk. Who's Kyoshiro again? I'm thinking. Who's Kyoshiro? Some guy. This war cry. Just like before, there was a... Thank you, Shroomy, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Again, you guys are fucking awesome. Thank you. Just like before, there was a letter tied to its leg. Tomonari untied it and scanned the letter. I saw a slight wrinkles forming on his brow while he read it. Hey, nice, Shroomy. Did something happen? Tomonari muttered a single sentence in response to my question. A Blightfall appeared inside the castle. The three of us hurried inside to where it spawned. It's like we fucking told you! We told you, bitch! Tomonari said nothing about Tojo and I tagging along. He probably determined that having a little more manpower wouldn't hurt given the emergency situation. When we arrived to the scene, the battle against the Blightfall had already begun. Standing there fighting the Blightfall were... It's Miyagi and Yabuta! They were working together to confront the Blightfall. I wish we could see it. Oh, that guy. The Blightfall is ridiculously strong. Still, we have to keep it at bay. I know! Only Wabban were outnumbered going up against such a powerful Blightfall. I wish we could see it. Tomonari immediately unsheathed his sword and joined the battle. I'll back you up. Stand back, Soup. Okay, be careful. Tojo appeared shortly after Tomonari, causing a look of surprise to briefly flash across Miyagi and Yabuta's faces. Cleo, please don't knock over my light. Dad. They turned towards the Blightfall in front of them for now, saying nothing. Ah! Slish, slish. I've like seen like a meme before where it was like just those sword slicey things. Yeah, Kitty's here. It was like, dang, that was such a great battle in my visual novel, and it'll be like the battle, and it's just like this the swishes of light. Now that Tojo and Tomonari had joined the fray, the only Wabban outnumbered the Blightfall. We had the upper hand. I watched the battle unfold from afar like I was told. Then I noticed there was an oyster catcher stuck to the Blyfall's mask. This must be another Blyfall summoned by a child. By a child! Thinking of the children being manipulated by somebody filled me with worry and rage. Since the oyster catcher, the Blyfall's weak point, was attached to a spot that was easy to see, defeating this one was bound to be a cinch. It's over for you! Tojo swung his sword, slicing the oyster catcher with one sharp blow, or so it seemed. For some strange reason, the Blyfall continued its rampage without being purified. I think we saw like a... What? Tojo seemed to find it surprising as well, because the threads around his neck turned to the color of astonishment. What is the color of astonishment? I don't know, but I think we've seen like a Blyfall once. Need some holy water. Why didn't that work? Did his attack not land hard enough? I'll attack it, Kunitaka. Keep it in check. Is it cause he has his memories in heart, so he can't do what the fuck it's called, snow water whatever sacrament? I don't remember. Cleo, you wanna leave? Oh, hi, princess. You wanna say hello? Hello. Your breath smells like fish. You're so sorry. Yes, kitty. She's my princess. Okay. I'll let you go. I'll attack it, Kunitaka. Keep it in check. Got it. The Blyfall was so focused on them it didn't even notice me. I should ask Kevin if he could write a theme by having his cat walk. Probably. I mean, there's artists who like have their kids do a scribble, then they make beautiful art out of it. The Blyfall was so focused on them it didn't even notice me. Although I was interested in seeing how the battle was unfolding, I decided to use this opportunity to find out where the Blyfall summoner was located. The black threads lead behind this Blyfall. Not good. I can't follow the threads without walking in front of it. I quickly scanned my surroundings. If I take a roundabout path through the room, I should be able to pass behind the Blyfall. Alright then. Ooh, a noise! Let's make something. I mean, that's not bad. I started moving quietly to keep from drawing the Blyfall's attention. Then a piece of a wooden crate landed nearby. I froze up for a moment, but I managed to keep my eye on the black threads. I'm sure I'll find the summoner by following these threads. At that moment, I heard the Blyfall death throes echoing throughout the inside of the castle. When I looked back in surprise, I caught Tomonari dealing the finishing blow to the Blyfall. Snow sacrament complete. The black threads, my only lead, vanished into thin air before my very eyes, meaning I wouldn't be able to determine where the summoner was. I didn't make it in time. Fuck you, Tomonari. I headed over to Tojo and the rest of Only Weapon now the battle was over. Great job, everyone. You're not hurt, are you? Nope, I'm fine. I was actually trying to follow the black threads, but I didn't make it in time. Ah, well, not much you can do, really. Sorry, I finished it off too quickly. Our policy is to keep the Blyfall alive as long as possible so we can find the summoner, but given the location... Hey, thanks, though. And again, I really appreciate that. It's alright, I completely understand. Great job on the snow sacrament. Miyagi and Yabuta approached while I was talking to Tomonari. Thank you so much for coming to help. We would have been in a real pinch on our own, right, Kyohiko? Because everyone knows everyone in Japan sounded like this. For sure. They all have country accents. I guess. Howdy! They're both acting a bit awkward, probably because of Tojo. Still, defeating the Blyfall had diffused some of the tension. I figured this would be my only chance to talk to them. So I was wondering... Everyone turned their attention towards me. Thankfully, we managed to end the battle with just some structural damage. That may not be the case next time. If this continues, Lord Yoshimune himself might eventually be in danger. Couldn't we work together to keep that from happening? Tominari didn't react to my idea at all. Miyagi averted his gaze, troubled, while Yabuta frowned grumpily. It didn't look good. I tried to sweeten the deal. You're spending tomorrow in the detention room, Shirumi? Yeah, good luck. If you work with us, we'll provide the Onigwaban with all the information we gathered. The more information you have, the better. Well, that said, still. Miyagi was a kind, clumsy guy, chummy guy, I mean. Maybe he still had some reservations about Tojo's sentence. Could you consider it? Pretty please? That will be difficult. I suppose you could say. It'll be difficult, you suppose. Yeah, you are so damn indecisive. Just cut to the chase. No, they want me to do my only classes for... I got you. Yabuta impatiently glared at Tojo and me. As long as he hasn't been cleared of his charges, we can't share any information with him. Takamura's been monitoring you from the very start. Any useful information you gathered would have been included in his reports. He was right. I never had room to bargain from the very start. Let's get going, Miyagi. Oh, sure. We'll be taking our leave then. Yabuta left in a huff, and Miyagi promptly followed after him. It was no use! I already knew it. In the end, we couldn't go back to being friends unless I proved Tojo was innocent. In other words, finding the kidnapping god was our only option. Don't let it get you down. It's all they can do, from their point of view. It's the reason I'm expecting Kakeru to appear out of nowhere. It's like, boom! Crossover time! Suddenly Nor 9. Maybe so, but... Sorry, you're doing all this for me, Soup. Tojo was smiling in an attempt to comfort me, but the threads around his neck were the color of sadness, which I assume would be a blue. Even Tojo was feeling sad, especially so now he has his heart back. The thought made life as a vessel seem overwhelmingly sad. Not allowed to have hearts, disposed of if their hearts return? What a horribly unreasonable life. You still haven't given up? It'll probably only lead to suffering on your part, you know. Even if it does, I won't give up to the bitter end. Still, it really drove home the situation I found myself in. We have a tough road ahead of us. I sighed internally. The next day, Tojo and I investigated inside the castle again with the Onigwaban's permission. Do you see emotional imprints anywhere? Not at the moment. Even though we were doing what we normally did, I felt uneasy. It made me restless to think Tominari might be watching us right at this very moment. I can't tell if I can feel his eyes on me or not, probably because I have it in my head that I'm being watched. Don't let it bother you too much. I wasn't about to ask what he meant. Either way, Tojo seemed to know I had something on my mind. Objectively speaking, I can understand why they don't trust me. Let them watch all they want. You have a point there. I shot a furtive glance at his neck while nodding cheerfully. His threads were the color of impatience, the polar opposite of the smile on his face. Again, what's the color of impatience? Makes sense that he's feeling impatient when we haven't found any leads. I couldn't bring up his threads, though. There was no need to mention them. Even if I did, I knew all it would do was upset him. Besides, Chiyoda Castle is huge. There's a bunch of rooms, so the summoner is spoiled for choices when it comes to hiding places. When and how did the summoner even make it inside in the first place? The castle is so closely guarded. Yeah, I know that, but like, what color is it? Like I think she told like what some of the colors mean. Like she said, oh, it's this color, which means blah blah blah. But I don't really remember. I think she said something for yellow, and of course black threads is like, oh, the icky malice and stuff. That's been bugging me too. Common sense would say that nobody could sneak their way into the castle. It's a mystery to me where they're hiding the children, not just how they got in. You think it'd be hard to find somewhere to hide that many children? If they're making them summon Blightfall, they also need to take the children near where they want the Blightfall summoned. Do you think that would stick out? Seems like the city commissioner finally started their search too. Yeah, the children's families didn't want it to go public. Although they can't say that now. Yeah, there was children being kidnapped and they've been summoning Blightfall to attack. If they still can't find them, does that mean they've been taken somewhere else? I guess, in a way. Nah. There hasn't been any child terrorists, more like. There hasn't been any intel stating a group that large left Edo. Different story altogether if they split them into small groups before taking them elsewhere. But if their goal is to attack Edo, they wouldn't go out of their way to leave. The suspect and the children must be here in Edo. It'd be difficult for them to hide all the children at once, but they haven't necessarily left Edo either. Meaning, you think they'd split up the kids so they wouldn't stick out, then hit him? It's entirely possible. And he gave me a light pat on the back in praise. He probably didn't even realize he was doing it. Treating me like a kid again. Being treated like a little kid didn't bother me nearly as much as it used to when his heart was still sealed away. The summoner might be able to control Blightfall from a distance, but they still need to be close enough based on the examples we've seen thus far. Think about the Blightfall that appeared here yesterday. At least one of the kids must have been here inside the castle. If we can identify where the summoner might have been lurking, we might be able to figure out their infiltration route too. He doesn't, I can't say he has it, I don't think the obsession's right. He just really cares for their well-being. Because when he was an object, his owner had like a school where he would teach children, I think to be samurais or something. So it's like, it's kind of like, and then it kind of ingrained to him. So he has affinity for teaching children, and he cares for them. Kind of like a teacher. He even had like a temple school where he would teach children, and then his students started going missing. Yeah. And if we do, we might be able to tell where the other children are, right? Exactly. Because, Tojo looked up at the ceiling like he just noticed something, then looked down at his feet. Right. The summoner is a kid. They wouldn't necessarily hide in the same places an adult would. Maybe they're hiding somewhere an adult wouldn't normally enter, like the city warehouse. You mean like above the ceiling or under the floorboards? You think it's worth looking? Oop. Itchy. Afterward, we explained the situation to the government official in charge. After negotiating, we got permission to look above the ceiling and under the floor.
Okay.
Checking this ourselves revealed the space under the floors to be so cramped even a child wouldn't be able to move around. We saw no tracks either. We also checked above the ceiling and saw no signs that anyone had been there. All we found was a thin layer of dust.
Guess we were completely off base then.
How so you say that was a fucking waste of time? It happens. Despite feeling a tad bit discouraged, we continue looking around inside the castle. As we made our way further inside, Tojo began to speak in a rather sentimental tone.
You know, you're probably the only reason I'm allowed to investigate inside the castle.
What do you mean?
We're not supposed to be looking around here in the first place. We were granted permission to look around, but the Oniwaban had the inside of the castle covered. The Oniwaban must be expecting you to find some new leads. I bet you they wouldn't have given me permission if I were by myself.
Am I being useful to you?
Couldn't be more helpful if you tried. Thanks. Couldn't be more helpful if you tried. Thanks.
I was touched by the sincere gratitude in his voice. I was glad I stuck with him. I knew I hadn't been wrong when I decided to take his side. You're welcome. I smiled radiantly, happiness bubbling up inside me. Finally, we reach... Well, she's not useless, no. She kind of... She has a really cool power. I don't know. I wouldn't say she's useless. Finally, we reached the innermost part of the castle where Lord Yoshimune stayed. It probably goes without saying that we can't go inside even though they said we had permission to be here, doesn't it?
They didn't designate any places as off limits, but best not to push it. Actually, I'd like to check out where his lordship dwells, since that would be the most likely target.
Tojo and I stared at the sliding door in front of us, reluctant to leave. Want to open it?
Shall we?
They're not going to cut us down the second we open the door, right? Or shoot arrows at us, right?
We'll be fine. Probably.
We quietly opened the door a bit hesitantly. On the other side of the sliding door was a hallway similar to the one we had walked down earlier. For some reason I couldn't quite place. It felt familiar. Is this the hallway I walked down the first time I came to Chiyoda Castle?
It is. Good guess. We showed you around when you had an audience with the Shogun. Man, that feels like ages ago already.
It really does. Thinking back on it moved me deeply. I had been so confused at the time, I barely knew up from down. I didn't even have the faintest idea of what I was supposed to be doing. But now I was determined to save Edo, and the children, no matter what it took. And Tojo too. Absolutely not! Just then we heard an angry voice coming from down the hallway.
Was that Lord Yoshimune?
Oh, I froze? Dang, it still says I'm streaming. I wonder what they're squabbling about.
Who knows? We can't just let it go. The worst case scenario could be happening as we speak.
We decided to quietly make our way down the hallway. We opened the sliding screen a bit and peeked in. A few retainers had been granted an... Oh, cool, we're back. A few retainers had been granted an audience. Whatever they were discussing had Lord Yoshimune looking rather cross. Behind them stood Kiyoshiro, his guard. Oh, the white-haired guy, I remember. They must be talking about Blightfall countermeasures. The retainers were insisting that Lord Yoshimune leave Edo at once for his own safety. but he seemed to be refusing to.
What good? I don't remember what voice I gave him. It's been so fucking long since we talked to Lord Yoshimune. What good would it do if we run away knowing full well that I'm the enemy's target? If they knew I left Edo, they would harm the children they kidnapped to make an example of them, and their destruction of Edo would know no bounds. In fact, it's much easier to determine where the enemy is located while I serve as a decoy. If you've the time to come up with useless ideas, you have time to locate the enemy post-haste. You have no need to fear for my safety with the only Waban at my side.
I can't believe Lord Yoshimune raising his voice when he's normally so mild-mannered. That must have been his strong sense of justice at work. Lord Yoshimune's stubbornness had the retainers at a complete loss. In the end, they concluded their visit with the shogun having failed to convince him. Only Lord Yoshimune and Kiyoshiro were left in the room with Tojo and I separated from them by a sliding door. I spoke to Tojo, my voice barely above a whisper. What the fuck is happening with my voice? Guess we'll have to stay here a little longer.
Seems so.
Tojo interrupted me and then looked past the sliding door.
Have they noticed this?
I followed his gaze, only to lock eyes with Kiyoshiro in the gap of the sliding door. I froze. He seemed to know that we've been watching from the very start.
Well, I guess he wouldn't be fit to guard Lord Yoshimune if he let this slip past him.
Kiyoshiro whispered something into Lord Yoshimune's ear, probably informing him of our presence.
I see. I'll allow it. You may come in.
Lord Yoshimune beckoned us in, amused. If the shogun of the entire country asks, who am I to say no? Tojo and I looked at each other, then timidly set foot inside the room and into his presence.
Please accept our apologies for being so impolite as to eavesdrop.
My sincerest apologies, my lord.
No need to humble yourselves. I also wanted to speak with you. Kiyoshiro, could you step outside for a brief moment?
But Kunitaka... Tojo still hadn't been cleared of his charges. It only made sense for Kiyoshiro to be suspicious of him.
I said to step outside. I understand your misgivings, but have no fear.
Kiyoshiro still tried to object, but finally relented after being on the receiving end of Lord Yoshimune's strong-willed gaze. Understood. At least allow me to stand guard outside the room. That I cannot concede.
I might not.
Then, if you'll excuse me. As Kiyoshiro walked past Tojo on his way out, he had one thing to say. No funny business. With that, he stepped outside the room.
That must mean you're here too, aren't you, Tomonari? I can tell, even though you're hiding.
When Lord Yoshimune spoke past us towards the back of the room, Tomonari immediately appeared. Come to think of it, Tomonari must have been here tailing us. My apologies for hiding. I was tasked with monitoring Kunitaka.
I'm aware, but you're dismissed from your post for the time being. Please leave for a while.
Understood. He's been, well, kinda, but he's been told to stalk us. Because we're under investigation. I probably shouldn't feel it. Yum. Tomonari left without a fight, probably because he'd just watched Kiyoshiro leave the room not long ago. This left only Lord Yoshimune, Tojo, and myself in the room. I wonder what he wants to talk to us about. It must have been important for him to clear the room like that. Lord Yoshimune carefully observed us while I sat there, flustered.
No need to be so formal, you two. Now then, Soup.
Yes?
Why are you on Kunitaka's side?
It seemed as though Lord Yoshimune knew that Tojo was under suspicion for what had happened recently. I said as much to the rest of Oniwaban, but I can see emotional imprints in the form of black threads. Because of that, I know Tojo is innocent. I couldn't stand idly by while my innocent friend was suspected of a crime, so I decided to work with him to clear his name.
I see. Is that really all? He's like, girl, I know you're down bad.
Huh?
If Blightfall summoned via cursed objects don't leave behind emotional imprints, then is it not possible that Kunitaka might not either? That is precisely why Kiyoshiro and the other Oniwaban cannot trust him. This voice, that's the voice I'm giving him for now. It's kind of hard to do, though. Why do you insist so strongly on believing this vessel?
Because, after giving it some thought, I replied.
How? Oh, also, next chapter is his final chapter. Holy shit.
You wouldn't do something like that. Suspecting Tojo probably is the correct thing to do under these circumstances, as you say, my lord. Oh, no. This is my first time streaming it. It's just something I've been playing on my YouTube channel. I'm starting to stream these. But having been in close contact with him, I know for a fact that he would never do such a thing. I saw for myself how genuine and sincere he is when interacting with the kids at school. And how devastated he looked when he found out the children were summoners. I saw it, which is why I don't believe he's the mastermind behind all this. I put more faith in what I can see with my own eyes than what other people say.
Soup.
I could tell he was relieved based on the color of his threads. I feel a bit proud, knowing it was because I was giving him my support. Lord Yoshimune nodded with satisfaction at what I said before turning towards Tojo.
By the by, Kunitaka, are you able to use the snow sacrament?
I was puzzled. Tojo was a vessel. Of course he could use the snow sacrament. It wasn't even worth checking. Nuh-uh. However, he said nothing in response to Lord Yoshimune's question. His face stiffened.
Well.
The threads around his neck were the color of impatience and dismay. Tojo, you don't mean...
You may not know this, Soup, but a vessel who has regained their heart and memories can neither perform the snow sacrament longer? Snow sacrament any longer, nor exist as a vessel.
Huh?
I heard from Kiyoshiro that Kunitaka has regained his memories. You also seem to be paying quite a bit of attention to Kunitaka's neck, which confirmed my suspicions about his heart.
Tojo, is it true that you can't perform the snow sacrament?
Yep. It's as his lordship says.
No! Thinking back, Tojo's attacks hadn't been very effective while fighting the Blightfall inside the castle. In the end, Tominari had performed the snow sacrament. He was already incapable of using it then?
My lord, may I ask you a question? You may. What did you mean when you said that I could no longer exist as a vessel once I regained my heart and memories? I mean what I said. When a vessel regains their heart and memories, they are unable to maintain their human form and eventually cease to exist. Or as a human might call it, they die. Die?
Tojo's eyes widened with surprise. This is apparently news to him.
Like form folk, death for a vessel means their body disappears. Their original object remains, but they can never again be resurrected as a form folk or a vessel. Regaining either their heart or memory don't guarantee a vessel will cease to exist. They may even be able to use the snow sacrament, but regaining both. My mind went blank as I listened to his explanation. No way. Tojo is going to die? He was fated to be disposed of by the Oniwabon anyway if we didn't find whoever was behind this in a month. Even if he did manage to escape execution, what difference did it make if he was just going to disappear anyway? Tojo was silent, completely stunned. His threads were quickly turning the color of despair. Don't despair just yet. Tojo and I looked up when we heard his trustworthy voice. The two of you may be able to overcome the difficult circumstances set before you.
Because of love. Huh? What do you mean by?
Stay by Kunitaka's side, Soup. You possess the powers of the Hakuseki clan, which may hold the key.
Is it something other than my ability to see threads or use the snow sacrament?
Correct.
I don't have a mod yet. Am I really capable of something like that? Please tell me how I can save Tojo. I leaned forward as I asked this. All Lord Yoshimune did was smile suggestively.
It's not something I ought to teach you. You'll understand when the time comes.
I think it's gonna go a fucking. It's gonna go. Y'all probably don't. It's gonna go down a fucking, what's it called? Either a Pio Fiore route or a... What's it called? Olympiasaure. Where... The answer was love all along. It's not really... Sorry, the answer was sex all along. Because that happened before in other visual novels. It's hilarious. It's ridiculous.
To save his life, you must give him your virginity.
Then he turned his gaze to Tojo.
You must also strive to return Soup's feelings.
Yeah, I knew it.
You gotta feel... Soup's feelings?
I fucking knew it! Named Tojo? I don't know. That'll be funny. If there's someone named Vessel and also someone named Tojo.
To be clear, I'm not at all suggesting that you enter a relationship. Since you both have hearts, every time you understand each other, you will also quarrel. I ask that you fear not and never look away from your own heart. For the record, Soup, that applies to you as well.
Yes, my lord. Understood. Neither Tojo nor I could think of an appropriate way to respond to Lord Yoshimune's reminder. Like, kinda awkward. What does he mean? Don't look away from my own heart? Is that the key to saving Tojo? Being true to yourself and your feelings? The second that thought crosses my mind... It's a playful! A blood fall suddenly appeared. I'm sorry, I'm eating a chip. Gonna mute. The blood fall suddenly appeared again. It didn't seem to come from anywhere in particular, appearing in an instant almost out of thin air. And at that exact moment, black threads stretched out and clamped the sliding door to the room shut, keeping us from escaping. Tojo sprang into action before anyone else. Yeah.
Lord Yoshimune! Soup!
He stepped in front of the Shogun, and I right away eye right away to shield us. And now the the Blythefall nimbly slipped past Tojo and headed for the Shogun. Roar! Its dreadful roar finally brought me back to my senses. I was standing closest to Lord Yoshimune, unless I protected him. Lord Yoshimune!
Don't come any closer. I'm its target.
Ah! Lord Yoshimune shoved me away to keep me from getting caught in the attack. That moment seemed to play out in slow motion. The Blythefall attacking Lord Yoshimune. Black Threads is a serious moment. The punch. Attacking Lord Yoshimune, black threads reaching from its body to the ceiling. There! When I noticed them, the slow-moving scenery simultaneously returned to its normal speed. My lord! I rushed over to Lord Yoshimune. He'd been gravely wounded by the Blythefall, leaving me shaken and unsure what to do.
How?
You dumb. Hey, thanks, Ion. I have this full playthrough up to this point on my YouTube channel. He can take him, but he closed the door so no one from outside. Oh, you're talking about Lord Yoshimune. Yeah, he wanted to protect the soup, even though he's arguably more important than soup in this case. How long? Not the soup! Maybe he likes being stabbed. Wow, Lord Yoshimune, I didn't know you were weird like that. What kind of chips? They're, sweet and tangy barbecue flavored Doritos.
He freaky.
What if I just finish? It's a small bag. Let me just finish that and then I'll lock him. Oh, I gotta. Ah! Tojo began attacking to drive the Blythefall away, only for it to dissipate just before his attack landed. I can start floating. Oh, I need to set that up because that'll be awesome. Yeah, y'all just throwing shit at me like bonk. I need to do that. Only for it to dissipate just before his attack landed. It promptly withdrew so quickly because it achieved its purpose, causing harm to Lord Yoshimune. Once he made sure the Blythefall was completely gone, Tojo hurried over to us. Tojo! His lordship is badly hurt!
Lord Yoshimune! Lord Yoshimune!
Tojo cradled Lord Yoshimune in his arms. Lord Yoshimune coughed violently, spitting up blood. I had such a hard time believing I was seeing that. I had such a hard time believing whatever. Tizzy hired people to stab him because they always had the.
It's like, yeah, I just really wanted to be stabbed.
Just wanted to know what it felt like. I had such a hard time believing what I was seeing that my legs felt like they were glued to the floor. Black threads holding the sliding door shut had also vanished at some point. They're gonna think it's Tojo even more now. Lord, your lordship, when the devil was that sound just now. Ah, Kunitaka, is he? The two of them had heard the commotion that, and happy struggling with a sliding door held shut by black threads the entire time. They finally entered the room and were left speechless at the horrors before them. Lord Yoshimune collapsed and bleeding, Tojo, his sword drawn. And then the blood Lord Yoshimune had coughed up all over Tojo's kimono and arms.
His lordship was attacked by a Blightfall. We have to get him treatment and quickly. Then all the colors drained out of Tojo's face, perhaps realizing how he looked just now. No, it wasn't me. They're going to get the wrong idea. I need to explain what just happened. Lord Yoshimune couldn't testify because he completely lost consciousness. How do I fix this situation? The worst possible outcome had happened. Chapter 7. Final chapter. Can't find out that man's fetish, it's worse for him. A few days had gone by since then. With the entire Oniwa band, save for Tojo, gathered around Kiyoshiro matter-of-factly explained the situation. The music in this game is so good. First, some good news. I'm sure y'all have been worried about Lord Yoshimune like I have. Of course you do, Shroomy. But we've managed to bring him back from the brink of death. I was deeply relieved to hear that. Seeing that he still hasn't regained consciousness, we have yet to determine his exact condition. The palace doctors are doing everything they can to treat him. The doctors who serve the Shogun's family. Palace doctors. His lordship is still here in the castle? No, he's been removed from the castle temporarily while they stabilize him. I can't reveal exactly where he's located right now, but no one will find him there. In that case, we can rest easy for the time being. But if he was attacked inside the castle, doesn't that mean nowhere's safe? Don't jinx it! He's still recovering for how much he liked being stabbed. No need to worry about that since we've apprehended the culprit. I listened in silence, clenching my fists in frustration. Right, the culprit, Tojo, had been caught. They'd already more or less concluded that Tojo had attacked Lord Yoshimune using a Blightfall, so he was being held in jail at the moment. The Blightfall appeared in the audience chamber out of nowhere. We checked above the ceiling after receiving Soup's report. But as you may already know, we didn't locate the summoner above the ceiling. Which leads us to unequivocally believe that Tojo, who was present at the scene, was behind this. But why would he? Don't know. Maybe he was being manipulated by a Blightfall. We'll find out eventually. Right. Once all the preparations are in order, we'll perform the reimplementation. It's not recorded, it's never happened. Right. Once all the preparations are in order, we'll perform the re-implementation ceremony. Nobody believed Tojo. I couldn't take it anymore. Tojo isn't the one behind this. They all looked at me with either surprise or pity. Their gazes alone made me want to give in, but I roused myself back up. I've explained this time and time again, but Tojo didn't do a thing. I know because I was with him. The Blightfall really did appear out of nowhere in a split second. Black threads were extending from the ceiling as well, so Tojo had nothing to do with it. Lord Yoshimune was also the one who not only summoned Tojo and I there, but cleared everyone else out of the room. Tojo didn't plan his way near Lord Yoshimune. Still, you know for sure that Tojo is innocent once Lord Yoshimune wakes up and provides his own account of what happened. We don't know when that will be. Lord Yoshimune still hasn't regained consciousness. There's a chance he might be under the control of a Blightfall already. Therefore, we can't take your testimony at face value either. But insisting that I wasn't being controlled by a Blightfall wouldn't change anything. No one believed me, and no one would take me seriously. I felt powerless. My shoulders slumped. Although you have unique powers, you're still a mere human in body and mind, just like us. Yabuta. Although I understand how you feel, the situation leaves us no choice other than not believing you.
But he really didn't. I didn't finish my sentence. I knew anything I said would be shrugged off.
Tominari, I'll continue leaving soup to you.
Yes, sir. Neither of them had been specific just now, but I knew they meant observing me. I'm surrounded by so many people, but I feel so alone right now. Feeling hopelessly alone, I look down at the ground. Afterwards, Kiyoshiro explained our next steps in simple terms. We were to continue guarding Lord Yoshimune while looking for the children. In short, not much different from what we've been doing. After sharing some basic information, we went our separate ways for the day. What are your plans after this? Tominari asked me after everyone else had left the room. I braced myself after suddenly remembering the conversation we had earlier. Tominari was a vessel, meaning he didn't act according to his emotions. He had to follow the commands of his leader, Kiyoshiro. I knew that in my head, but I couldn't reconcile my feelings, leaving me conflicted. Are you mad? Tominari peered at me, looking a bit troubled. Sitting silent the entire time had probably given him that impression. No, I'm not mad. I'm just not sure how to act around you right now. I'm sorry. When I openly told him how I felt, Tominari sadly muttered, I see, and left the room. No one in the Oniwa Bond would lend me their ear. I knew we would never get any closer to the truth at this rate. I gotta figure something out. I left the room, my feet heavy. I never thought I'd ever visit this place alone. Oh, she has Kamame! I come to jail to visit Tojo. Kamame. Kamame, I brought you because you wanted to come along too, but we're not here to play. Be a good girl. Aw, dang, is that Soup? What, you're here to see me? Hello, Tanichibo. I'm sorry, but today, how do I put this? I know, you're here to see the new guy. If you're looking for him, he's right over that way. Thank you very much. I headed to the cell next to Tanichibo's. Oh. And there was Tojo. Oh, is that you, Soup? Tojo greeted me with a somewhat stiff smile. Seeing him behind bars was yet another reminder of the situation he was faced with. Hello, Tojo. I didn't even need to check the color of his threads to know he was depressed. Anyone would be in his shoes. And yet, here he was, still smiling out of concern for me. The thought made my heart ache. Heartaches, heartaches. Me loving you brings heartaches. Oh. Did it go okay? Yeah, they didn't even interrogate me. I had a ton of free time on my hands. And you got a cellmate! Tanichibo! Yay! I'm sorry, I opened my big mouth hoping I'd be of use to you, only for it to lead to this. You helped me plenty. I'm the one who owes you an apology for dragging you into this. I shook my head silently. I wanted to show him non-verbally that I didn't think he was to blame. He must be unbearably anxious right now. He had no idea when they'd perform the re-implementation ceremony, but at the same time, he might not be able to maintain his form for much longer anyway. Whether the ceremony or him ceasing to exist came first, there was no hope for him either way. His mind was probably a swirling vortex of worry right now. Whether he realized he was doing it or not, it broke my heart to see that stiff smile on his face. I'll chat with him and brighten his mood as much as I possibly can. Tojo, it's a beautiful day. Halfway through saying it was a beautiful day outside, I panicked and bit my tongue. It was terribly insensitive of me to bring up the weather to someone who isn't even allowed to go outside. Wrong topic. He's like another cockaroo, but not a word. I can see it.
Something the matter?
Not at all. Right. So over in the entertainment district, there's this one. I stopped myself from mentioning a tea house everyone had been talking about. Then I hold my tongue yet again. Ah! I'm such an idiot! He's cruel me to tell someone who's locked up in jail about a place he can't go to! While I struggle to come up with an appropriate topic, Tojo spoke up like he just remembered something. Well, we'll hear that in a second, because I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. Burb. Be right back.
Alright, how's Komame been?
Oh, duh! She's great and she's been eating rice every single day. She's here with me today. Huh? Komame? She had been here with me just a second ago. I looked around, only to find her a ways away with her back turned to us. Komame's over there.
She's so far away. Still giving me the cold shoulder, I see.
I was a bit relieved to see a smile creeping into his face compared to when I had first gotten here. Now to talk to him about what's next since he's feeling better. Maybe it'll make him feel a little more optimistic. Tojo, do you remember the possibility Lord Yoshimune mentioned?
The possibility?
He said that as someone with the powers of the Hakuseki clan, I may hold the key, and we might be able to overcome this together. I don't think Lord Yoshimune would mention something completely unfounded. There must be some significance to what he said.
Significance, you say?
I'm not sure what exactly we can do, but we'll do the best we can together. We can't give up yet, I said eagerly. There was no doubt in my mind that Tojo would quip back, "You're right," with a smile on his face. Or at least, that's what I believed.
I'm going to revert to an object, so don't come here anymore.
Huh? I doubted my ears for a moment. I didn't immediately understand what he just said. I began to panic at the meaning of what he just said slowly sink in. Why? That one question was all that came out.
Enough. A useless vessel like me does nobody any good. Might as well go out with some dignity.
But... you followed 2 B streamers? Hell yeah.
I was unable to protect Lord Yoshimune. I failed to block the Blyfall's attack even though I was right there in front of him. The kids put their faith in me too, but at this rate their lives might very well be in danger. Not only am I going to be killed, I couldn't protect anything that mattered to me.
That's not necessarily true. Don't say something so sad. Tojo seemed to be on the brink, mentally.
Who knows what'll happen to you if you stick around. You should walk away before they begin to suspect you too.
I could never.
It's for your own good.
Nothing I said would make it through to Tojo's thick skull in his current state.
They won't find any evidence of you being the culprit once I've been turned back into an object. At least I'll be useful in providing your innocence. They'll stop monitoring you when that happens. And you'll get to be an active Only One Bond member again. Being turned back into an object will be worth it.
I don't want that at all! I want you to live, Tojo. Please stop putting yourself down. You haven't done anything wrong.
No, I have. It's all my fault we're in this situation in the first place. I gave them an opening, so they targeted my temple school and turned the oyster catchers into cursed objects. Probably because I'm an inferior vessel.
Tojo. The threads around his neck were a self-condemning hue, just like the words coming out of his mouth.
I'm going to be very frank with you. When you first told me you could see my threads, I felt a fear I never experienced in my entire life. As someone who is not human, I was terrified of not being a vessel either. That fear came true. Now the seal on not just my memories but also my heart's been broken. I'm completely, utterly useless. This never would have happened if I were an upstanding admirable vessel like Kuga. The rivalry. I couldn't do a damn thing in the end. Guess I'm feeling disillusioned. I don't even deserve your help. Could I ask you a favor? I don't want you to see me in this pathetic state. Could you please pull yourself together? Oh, girl, she's yelling at him. That was so loud. I even surprised myself. What? Soup? What on earth are you yammering? You and all your yammering. Stop that yammering. What on earth are you yammering about? All I hear out of your mouth is self-hatred and inferiority complex. This inferiority complex, this guilt, that. I heard enough. I had enough. Okay, this simple school was targeted solely because of the children of influential, if I can fucking speak, Daimyo were all gathered in one place. Oyster catchers were turned into cursed objects because the kids were sharing them. It was just a coincidence. Your confidence has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. Don't pin every bad thing on yourself. No, I don't want to fight. I want to be friend to bees. Though I guess bees are territorial. Once I finished my spiel, I caught my breath. I'm sorry, I guess, but... You're still planning on to tear yourself down? You're not inferior to the other vessels, no matter what you say. Welcome back, Shroomy. In fact, you're the only reason why I've been able to work as hard as I have. I would have been much more leery if, say, Kuga and Yoichi had been the ones who came to the village to pick me up. I felt safe coming to Edo thanks to you, Tojo. Really? Really! You're the reason why the children are at the temple school. You're the reason why the children at the temple school liked and trusted me so much. When you denounce yourself, you're also denouncing how they feel about you. I looked down before continuing rather quietly. And me too, because I have fallen in love with him, although I couldn't say the rest out loud. Oh girl, it's obvious. Soup, what were you about to say right now? Anyway, you don't need to compare yourself to others. For the sake of those who love you, don't debase yourself. It makes me so sad to see you do that. I could feel myself getting worked up as I said this. My eyes were beginning to water. What's so bad about being pathetic in the first place? I'd rather hear how you really feel, even if you're just complaining like you were earlier, than to see you fake a smile. Lean on me more. Nothing's more painful for me than watching you force yourself to smile. I quickly began so worked up, I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. How do you not even get the- fuck. How do you not get this, even though you're always so considerate? A single teardrop brimmed over. Once the dam broke, the tears came gushing out. Lord Yoshimune's still alive, and so are the children. It's not over yet. None of it is. Don't just give up. She's like Peachers. Yeah, her original name is... What is her original name? I don't remember. Oops, sorry, Peachers. Koharu, it's Koharu. I said the last part while ugly crying. I didn't care how undignified I look. Tojo was being just as undignified as I was. CG? CG! Soup, my apologies. Tojo reached out from inside his cell and gently touched my cheek. He softly wiped away the tears spilling down my face. What does that mean, Odin? All I ever do is make you sad. You kind of scared me for a second, because with the characters, there's like bots use those, so I was like, oh, another bot? No, it's just Odin. All I ever do is make you sad.
Then stop making me sad. I'll be even more sad without you.
Why do you insist on siding with me?
What?
Found myself saying something rather idiotic because the question caught me off guard.
Why? Isn't it obvious? Odin's a bot! No!
Oh, axes of the dwarves are upon you. You might be able to see the truth using your Hakuseki powers, but still, I don't understand why you pit the Onryuban against yourself to support me. Alright, because you're a kind person. I'm sure you hold out from Lord of the Rings. I need to watch it and or read the books. Alright, because you're a kind person. I'm sure you'll hold out a helping hand to anyone you saw struggling. I'm nothing special. I froze for a moment at his cruel and exceptionally thick-headed self-absorption. And here I thought he was really good at picking up on people's emotions. He's so dense when it comes to love. Not saying I'm one to talk, but still! Why was he being like this when he very clearly turned me down once before? I needed to be clear with him one more time. You don't get it, Tojo. I want to help so badly because you are special to me! And because I like you. Huh? This time it was Tojo's freezing up. Even though I hurt your feelings? He must have been talking about when he broke my heart. So you knew. I thought I made the right choice back then. Loving a vessel is an exercise in futility. I was pretty sure you would stop being in love with me afterwards. You seem to be gradually realizing I've been in love with him the entire time that I've been by his side. You look flabbergasted. As if he never imagined I might still have been pining for him. It took him long enough, and it's really embarrassing, but I guess he finally knows how I feel now. Tojo was surprised at first, but then he nodded in understanding. Although a bit sad, he also seemed happy. Now that you mentioned it, I like how you're like arguing if sure we could take down dwarfs or not, and they're having a moment. Now that you mentioned it, you've always been very kind and friendly to me. It's honestly pathetic that I didn't realize until you told me yourself. I understand now that I know how you feel. I probably feel warm and fuzzy inside because I'm fond of you too. I didn't expect him to say he was fond of me since he already turned me down once before. Aww. You stuck by me through thick and thin. At some point I fell in love with you too. What a cruel twist of fate, only realizing this when I'm about to die. Dramatic. Well, I guess I'm still blessed to have briefly shared a connection with you. I have a favor to ask of you, Soup. Could you at least hold my hand? I flashed him an unparalleled smile. No, thank you. What? Tojo let out an idiotic noise I never heard out of him before. You probably hadn't expected that to happen, the way our conversation was going. I continued to smile, torn between feelings of emptiness and relief. You said earlier that it was completely impossible for vessels to be in relationships. Oh, right, I did. You said they meant nothing to you. I did. I gave up altogether after that. I actually did like him, and sometimes I still felt self-conscious about him as a member of the opposite sex. But now I only thought of him as a friend.
Holy shit.
The whole Tooshmere shibboleth.
Or I made an effort to.
Oh, girl, you had me! You had me! You got me for a sec. You got me for a second.
Gosh darn it, Soup! Or I made an effort to, at least. Hearing him suggest I still had a chance was making me waver. I need to show some backbone. Accepting Tojo's feelings for me would make me a total doormat. I huffed, still feeling torn. Do you realize it was a struggle for me to stand by your side?
No, sorry.
It doesn't matter to me if you never returned my feelings. I wanted to be there for you anyway. I already decided to forget I was ever in love with you. It's far too late for that now, Tojo. Plus, aren't you planning to die and leave me all alone? Loving someone who's about to die? Now that's what you call an exercise in futility. After giving him a piece of my mind, Tojo stood there, rooted to the spot for what I assumed were purely psychological reasons.
Right, very elegant.
Speak up.
Yeah, you're right. I did say it was impossible for vessels to be in relationships. I wasn't quite sure what Tojo was thinking, but he seemed pretty flustered recalling what happened back then. Oh, the accidental kiss, where she's like, oh my god, he kissed me. I was like, accidentally. She's like, oh my god. I was like, accidentally. One glance at his thread showed he truly was frustrated and ashamed of his actions. And that his feelings for me were genuine. Damn, I wish I could give my past self a smack.
I mean, what could you see? What could you see? It was kind of technically right at the time. You're a vessel, you had your heart sealed away, you didn't have feelings. I mean,
you were right. You didn't expect this to happen.
If that's how you feel, then make me fall in love with you all over again.
Cheesy.
Make me fall in love, then give up on you once before. Now it's your turn, Tojo.
You mean I still have a shot?
Survive first. Then we can worry about that after we've solved this case. I don't want to be in love with someone who plans to die.
You got me there.
Live, Tojo. Do that, and maybe one day I'll return your feelings. I provoked him on purpose. It was like I actually knew a thing or two about love. Tojo was taken aback, but immediately nodded in agreement.
Alright, I will. And then I'll make you fall for me. You can count on it.
We looked into each other's eyes and both smiled rather tenderly for the first time in a long while. I had a feeling we'd forgotten something, though.
Tenichibo's right there!
And he... Then I remember we've been carrying on as usual, but we weren't the only ones in the parlor cell right now. I turned around in a panic and saw that Tenichibo had his face pressed up against the bar staring at us. Kamame, you like him? Kamame was also huddled up next to him, staring intently at us. He was watching us, and he heard us! I said some pretty bold stuff, too. The thought of someone hearing everything we just said suddenly made me embarrassed. Man, I had no idea you were into men like him. No wonder I couldn't woo you. That's enough of that, I said rather unconvincingly as I hurried to retrieve Kamame. Afterwards, we continued to discussing our next steps. First, we talked about Tojo's situation. Lord Yoshimune said that together, we might be able to overcome this difficult situation, and that I should stay by your side.
That must mean we should stick together as long as possible. That'll be difficult with me in jail.
I'll just have to come see you as much as I can then. That and report back to you anytime something happens.
Great, thank you.
Then we discuss the Blightfall. Is it a pan flute? I could be wrong. Yeah, not a pan flute. There were black threads leading up to the ceiling when Lord Yoshimune was attacked, right?
Oh, that was... I read that wrong. There were black threads leading up to the ceiling when Lord Yoshimune was attacked, right?
There were. I let the Oniwaban know, but their search didn't turn up anything. I don't think I was mistaken, though. I was thinking of checking it out myself.
For yourself?
My eyes might find something that the Oniwaban overlooked.
Don't. Just give it a rest. It's much too dangerous.
But
you do have the powers of the Hakaseki clan. We are completely incapable of fighting. You get killed almost immediately if you ran into the enemy.
What can I do then? I can't help you or protect Edo or anything.
That might be, but I can't expose you to danger.
Then protect her! Don't you have a crush on her? Tenichibo jumped into our conversation from the neighboring cell. His sudden tone-deaf remark caught us both by surprise. Called, Shakuhachi. Cool.
I'm in jail. I'd protect Soup myself if I could.
Then I'll let you out of jail. I was just thinking of leaving myself.
What?
Watch this! Tenichibo proudly pulled a bundle of keys out of his kimono. Wait, are those? They're the keys to the jail. The guards are real lax, maybe because they only keep the cream of the crop here. In the parlor cells, nabbing them was a cinch. Opportunities like this don't come around often, so I've been looking for a chance to bust out of here. Hear me out. Help me break out of jail, get revenge on the kidnapping god, and show the shogunate that locked me up who's boss! Tojo's eyes widened in amazement at Tenichibo's plea before letting out a shocked, almost sarcastic laugh.
Stealing keys isn't something I praise you for, but just this once I applaud your skills.
You're amazing, Tenichibo.
There's one big flaw with your plan.
Flaw?
Isn't Soup being tailed?
Oh! He was right. I was so excited I completely forgot Tominari was tailing me. It would have overheard everything we just talked about. It was all for nothing. My shoulders slumped after watching my hopes get dashed almost instantly. You don't really need to run away. But that... huh? I saw that Tominari had appeared at some point and was standing there with us. As surprised as I was to see Tominari when he was supposed to be watching me from the shadows, I was even more surprised by what he just said. Tominari! Wait, what do you mean we don't need to run away?
Do you mean you're confident we'll be caught the second we try to break out of jail? So go ahead and try.
Tominari shook his head, no. Tojo and I looked at each other. It sounded like Tominari was going to look at the other way while we broke out of jail. I honestly don't care about Kunitaka. If anything, I still don't trust him. But I don't believe for a second that you, Soup, are being controlled by a Blightfall. I don't have a logical explanation to why I feel that way. I just firmly believe my gut instincts on this. Tominari. The Oniwaban are currently at a standstill in their investigation too. Taking a gamble on you and your unique powers is another option we can try. The Oniwaban can't take that risk because they don't believe you, but I do, so I'll help you out. Thank you, Tominari. That's incredibly reassuring. I also worry about leaving this entirely in your hands when Kunitaka can't use the snow sacrament.
Ah, so you noticed.
How could I not? Something was clearly wrong when we were fighting inside the castle earlier.
I see. You ever thought you were looking out for your old teammate? But it's Soup you really trust.
Obviously. I'm just putting my faith in her based on gut instinct. You have a problem with that?
Nah, actually that's exactly why I know I can trust you. Then Tojo and Tanichibo broke out of jail while Tominari and I watched. After Tojo escaped from jail, we wasted no time sneaking into Chiyodo Castle with Tominari's help. Tanichibo hated sneaking around, so he told us he'd find some place to hide and left. That meant it was just Tominari, Tojo, and I sneaking in.
Sure!
And Kamame. And Kamame! Tominari found out when the guards changed from the Oniwaban, allowing us to easily make our way to the audience chamber where Lord Yoshimune had been attacked. His blood was still on the tatami mats in the room. It was hard to look at.
It's just as we left it. We preserved the scene since we weren't sure where the clues might be found.
Let's do a quick investigation of our own.
Hi, Aiko! Hello! How are you doing? Or you want me to call you Natsuhara? Which one do you prefer?
So, do you remember where the black threads come from?
Yeah. Oh, cool. Aiko's good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good myself. That's great to hear.
I'm glad today's Wednesday. Halfway through the week, baby.
Yeah, they were right over there.
I pointed to a corner of the ceiling while jogging my memory of the event.
We're playing Winter's Wish here. And we're on the last chapter of this guy's route, because I played most of it on my YouTube channel.
Who's this nerd? Wooden. Alright, let's check it out right away.
Working together, Tojo and Tominari begin to look around above the ceiling. I'm pretty much all the way moved to Twitch, but in the first place it was mostly on YouTube. But I do upload videos on YouTube, and that's what I was doing. I was uploading YouTube videos of the visual novels I've been playing, but I was recommending, hey, you can just stream it and then upload it later. So that's what I'm doing now. But, and perhaps this was to be expected, their search didn't turn up anything.
The only thing I saw up there was a layer of dust. If anyone had been sneaking around, they definitely would have left prints. But, Tominari, you got some dust on your head?
And you got some on your shoulder, Kunitaka. They come up empty-handed and were covered in dust to boot. Thank you so much, it's so exciting. I need to, like, spruce everything up and do, like, words and shit. I need to do that. I know what I saw. I definitely saw black threads back then. I stared in the direction of where I seen the black threads coming from and thought to myself, it was safe to say no one had been above the ceiling, but it was completely out of the question that someone might have been even farther up. What about on the roof? The little I said garnered a reaction from both Tominari and Tojo.
A roof? I see. We're convinced the summoner had to be inside because the Blackfall spawned in the chamber. We completely overlooked the roof.
I'll go check it out then. With that, Tominari immediately left to check the roof. He returned a short while later. Welcome back. Did you find anything? They dumb like, yeah. Your insight was spot on, he said before handing me a small box to Tojo.
A box? Was this up on the roof?
Yeah, it was placed in a relatively secure spot on the roof. I also found a single set of footprints up there. It's clear someone was there and left this box behind.
Shall we check what's inside the box? Might find a clue of whoever's behind this.
What if smoke billows out and you're turned into an old man like Urashima Taro in that fairy tale?
I don't think that will happen.
Am I familiar with Andrew Dobson? The name is familiar, but I don't know where.
Stand back just in case, Soup. It might not be smoke, but who knows what's inside.
Sure. Once they made sure I stepped back like I'd been told, Tojo carefully opened the lid to the small box.
Are those?
It didn't seem like there was any danger. I got closer and peered inside the small box, which contained a doll made out of straw and an oyster catcher. Oh! Yeah! I know who that is. How old is... I've definitely watched videos on him before. I don't know if it's that 3-hour one, but send it to me. I like long videos, especially when I'm at work. Ah, the oyster catcher is swarming with black threads. Ah.
That's the type of bewitched object for the Ushinotoki Mairi ritual. Part of the person being cursed is put inside a crate of stand-in for them.
Bewitched object. Charmed object used to curse someone. You mean there's something inside the effigy? I know, I love her.
I named her Soup. Let's have a look.
He slowly opened up the straw, revealing 5 blood-stained fingernails inside. Oh, because there was this kid who had his fingernails ripped off. We went back to Tojo's house for the time being, where we discussed the small box we found on the roof of the castle. Inside the box was the straw effigy from before, as well as the 5 fingernails we found inside it. Yeah. Komame. Komame must have instinctively realized there was something sinister about them, because she was hiding behind me, seemingly terrified. Yee, she can't fly. She's our little baby. What on earth could this mean? I said this while looking off to the side, since I found it hard to look directly at the fingernails.
We found it where those black threads came from, meaning it is, without question, the cursed object that summoned the Blackfall, that attacked Lord Yoshimune.
Doesn't that seem a little too convenient? You have to actually hold the cursed object and say an incantation to summon a Blightfall. Our current understanding was that after summoning a Blightfall from the castle roof, someone intentionally placed the straw effigy in a small box and left.
With this effigy, I suspect that the summoner didn't even need to be there.
I wasn't sure what he meant, but Tominari was nodding along, seemingly convinced. You mean the effigy served as the hand holding the oyster catcher? The effigy served as the hand holding the oyster catcher?
Exactly.
Huh? But was the effigy able to say the incantation needed to summon the Blightfall? Tojo furrowed his brow at my question, like it was difficult for him to answer.
The effigy served as the hand for the purposes of the curse. It allows whoever the 5 fingernails came from to summon the Blightfall from far away using the effigy. In other words, the kidnapped children are saying the incantation elsewhere.
When he said this, I finally remembered something. The right arm of the child we saved earlier was almost necrotic, and all of his fingernails had been ripped off. The kid we took into our custody at the warehouse had all of his fingernails ripped off. Was he being forced to summon a Blightfall using the effigy too?
Well, who can say? At the very least, it's clear that the summoner was headed to the scene.
Whoever escaped through the wall was inside the city warehouse must have been the summoner. The child in the warehouse was a little ways away from the oyster catcher, but that might have been just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Why didn't they use an effigy? All of his fingernails had been ripped off.
Simply put, the summoner probably had no choice but to be there because the enchantment was still unstable.
The white hair, he's a dateable character. We're just not on his route right now. So eventually,
we'll do his route eventually. We're on Kunitaka, the green guy. On this last chapter, actually. Simply put, the summoner probably had no choice but to be there because the enchantment was still unstable. It's definitely a very sophisticated course.
It's hard to say for sure.
But it must be stable now considering what happened to Lord Yoshimune. I bet all the other kidnapped children are suffering through the same thing as we speak. Considering they were able to summon a Bladfall at just the right moment, he must have been with the mastermind behind all this, the kidnapping god.
I guess the only way to crack this case would be to pinpoint the kid's location. Ah! Ow.
That was Kiroshiro's bird.
Ah, I see Kiroshiro's hawk in the garden.
The hawk was perched on a tree branch in the garden, observing us with its penetrating gaze. Yes, they realized Nichibo and I escaped.
There's a letter tied to his leg.
Tominari removed the letter from the hawk, then read its contents.
They also found out that I went against orders. They've instructed the entire Oniwaban to get rid of Kunitaka and I as soon as they capture us. The letter says to turn ourselves in with dignity. This seems to be a final warning for us.
I figured this would happen sooner or later.
I'm sorry, Tominari. Cooperating with us got you in trouble too. It was my decision to help you, so I have no regrets. Anyway, what do we do with the hawk? Chase it away?
No, wait. We should share out all the information we gathered so far with the Oniwaban. There's a strong possibility that there are multiple boxes containing effigies around Chiyoda Castle. Let's have the Oniwaban take care of those.
Well, they have more people around to help. Do you think they'll take whatever information we gave them at face value? Cook it like chicken. Not the hawk.
They'll at least try to confirm what we tell them. Same difference in the end, either way, if they find any. Tojo whipped out a writing brush and quickly drafted up a letter summing up the matter. After tying the letter to the hawk's leg, it immediately took off like it understood its duty.
Oh! Kamami's like, damn, why can't I be like that? Kamame?
Kamami stared keenly at the hawk as it flew away.
Maybe Kamami wishes she could fly like that too. No rush. No rush.
Sure.
I felt like comforting Kamame when I saw her staring sadly at the hawk. Kamame, you are who you are. No need to compare yourselves to others and make yourself impatient. There was no way Kamame understood what I was saying, but she listened obediently like she did. I softly stroked her tiny little body with my fingertip. Who knows? You might be able to fly one day when you least expect it. No need to feel so self-conscious about it.
Dad!
Hearing Kamami chirp with relief brought a smile to my face.
Alright then, we should get going.
Where are we going?
First, let's look for the children in Samurai Town, while searching for boxes like the one we found earlier. They already know we're here. Oniwaban will come running any minute, so we need to leave on the double. Tominari, let's split up from here on out. It'll be easy to spot if we're all together. Meet up with Tanichibo. He might come in handy. I know, it's a super creative name.
Kunitaka, are you going with her? I'm against this. You can't protect her in a pitch since you can't use the snow sacrament.
I can still hold my own against Bladfall. If anything happens, I'll protect her.
I can't leave her with you. She's coming with me. Tominari. I said his name to interrupt him. Thank you for worrying about me, but I'm going to go with Tojo. You might be in danger. I know, but I made up my mind. After staring me down to make sure this was what I really wanted, he quietly nodded in understanding. Tojo and I left for Samurai Town. Tominari was traveling separately and had plans to link up with Tanichibo. Kamame sat quietly inside my kimono sleeve. Be careful not to fall out. Alright then. First, let's do another search of the city warehouse where the Blightfall appeared. We might find some evidence there. I really hope we'll find something that'll lead us to the kids. Tojo surveyed the area, looking a bit lost. Doesn't look like anyone's here. Samurai Town was quieter than usual due to the repeated Blightfall attacks. Hi, cleric. How are you doing? The shogunate was restricting information to avoid causing panic, including the fact that Lord Yoshimune was wounded. Still, there was no putting a lid on the rumors going around. The information had apparently leaked to some of the higher-ranking officials. Looks like everyone who could escape had already left. Guess I can't blame them. With no pedestrians, we couldn't ask around for information. Go to sleep, Shroomy! In fact, just walking around made us conspicuous. It's honestly a good thing no one can see us since we're on the run from the Oniwaban. Let's look at it in a positive light. I think being in a crowd would be a little bit better. Like, hiding in plain sight. Still, there was nothing positive about what we saw all around us. There were crumbling, half-destroyed houses here and there, and in some half-destroyed houses here and there. In some areas, there were in utter shambles. My voice again. Some houses were still in one piece. You don't have to listen. Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Good night, Shroomy. Some houses were still in one piece, but the occupants have either moved away or fled. I mean, there were a lot of deserted parts of this town. Ha ha! Weak-minded. It makes the black threads I'm spotting all over town stand out even more than they did before. Since I first came to Edo, I've seen black spider-web-like threads clinging to the buildings countless times. And yet, it felt like I've seen more of them lately. It probably has something to do with people feeling anxious about the Blightfall or dissatisfied with the shogunate. Tojo peeked at an abandoned home through a broken wall. Before I was kicked out of the Oniwaban, I heard they were busy attending to the daughters of officials from around the country who couldn't leave Edo. They've been doing a lot to keep them from feeling cooped up, like providing them with a mansion to temporarily take refuge in. Sounds like a lot of work for them. If rumors go around that the shogunate is on the decline, groups plotting insurrection will start coming out of the woodwork too. We will be in too deep of trouble if war broke out on top of struggling to deal with the Blightfall. Just then, Tojo's eyes darted in the other direction. Soup, this way. What? He pulled me towards him before I had any time to answer, pressing my face up against his chest, and... Goddamn. My mouth is getting tired. What time is it? 9:46? It's only been 2 hours now. Yeah, well, I'll be streaming more later this week. Maybe tomorrow, who knows? Who knows? I can probably stay up a little bit later tomorrow because I can get up later because I have a doctor's appointment. Yippee! But we're on his final chapter though. Should we push through? But the chapter might be long, but We're on his final chapter, but we also need to get the other endings. I'll stop it. Stretch. I'm just. Yay. Again, thank y'all so much for, well, joining in and stuff. It's been very exciting with being like affiliate finally and stuff. All of you all are so awesome. But yeah, see you next time. Bye.